Thinking, the talking of the soul with itself. No man ever steps in the same river twice, for it's not the same river and he's not the same man. The foundation of every state is the education of its youth. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. He who learns must suffer. And even in our sleep pain that cannot forget falls drop by drop upon the heart, and in our own despair, against our will, comes wisdom to us by the awful grace of God. It is not so much our friends' help that helps us, as the confidence of their help. The secret to happiness is freedom. And the secret to freedom is courage. Healing is a matter of time, but it is sometimes also a matter of opportunity. In order to succeed, we must first believe that we can. It is during our darkest moments that we must focus to see the light. Without a sign, his sword the brave man draws, and asks no omen, but his country's cause. There are only two people who can tell you the truth about yourself, an enemy who has lost his temper and a friend who loves you dearly. A tree is known by its fruit, a man by his deeds. A good deed is never lost, he who sows courtesy reaps friendship, and he who plants kindness gathers love. Excess of grief for the dead is madness, for it is an injury to the living, and the dead know it not. A man must fortify himself and understand that a wise man who yields to laziness or anger or passion or love of drink, or who commits any other action prompted by impulse and inopportune, will probably find his fault condoned, but if he stoops to greed, he will not be pardoned, but render himself odious as a combination of all vices at once. If cattle and horses, or lions, had hands, or were able to draw with their feet and produce the works which men do, horses would draw the forms of gods like horses, and cattle like cattle, and they would make the gods' bodies the same shape as their own. Everything has a natural explanation. The moon is not a god, but a great rock, and the sun a hot rock. Love can sometimes be magic. But magic can sometimes just be an illusion. A simple life is good with me. I don't need a whole lot. For me, a t-shirt, a pair of shorts, barefoot on a beach, and I'm happy. Would Jove appoint some flower to reign, in matchless beauty on the plain, the rose, mankind will all agree. The rose the queen of flowers should be. Music is science more than art, and it is the main code of the universe. No man ever steps in the same river twice, for it's not the same river and he's not the same man. Of all men's miseries the bitterest is this, to know so much and to have control over nothing. Give me a lever long enough and a fulcrum on which to place it, and I shall move the world. Whatever I try to do, I always try to give it my best and try to be a killer because, at the end of the day, if you don't work hard, you are not going to get food on your table. Happiness resides not in possessions, and not in gold, happiness dwells in the soul. Just because you do not take an interest in politics doesn't mean politics won't take an interest in you. Concern should drive us into action and not into a depression. No man is free who cannot control himself. Reserve your right to think, for even to think wrongly is better than not to think at all. Open your mouth and shut your eyes and see what Zeus will send you. That is the difference between good teachers and great teachers. Good teachers make the best of a pupil's means, great teachers foresee a pupil's ends. I myself think that the wise man meddles little or not at all in affairs and does his own things. Practice is everything. This is often misquoted as practice makes perfect. Old wood best to burn, old wine to drink, old friends to trust, and old authors to read. I choose the likely man in preference to the rich man. I want a man without money rather than money without a man. The nature of God is a circle of which the center is everywhere and the circumference is nowhere. For me, filmmaking is not about making statements but about exposing human behavior so people are eager enough to start thinking on their own and make their own assumptions. My hope that Thatcher would inadvertently bring about a new political revolution was well and truly bogus. All that sprang out of Thatcherism was extreme financialization, the triumph of the shopping mall over the corner store, the fetishization of housing, and Tony Blair. Well-being is attained by little and little, and nevertheless is no little thing itself. Old women should not seek to be perfumed. I never think about a shoot before I do it. Because there's no formula for people. What I try to do is to strip everything away rather than go in with preconceived notions. If I do that, I might miss a gem or a jewel that the person is offering me. Art is the fatal net which catches these strange moments on the wing like mysterious butterflies, fleeing the innocence and distraction of common men. Click the link in the bio for free study notes, limited spots. Follow us now. Study Note 10.